Mukund. So I'll be introducing the speakers for the evening. Hello, all. Good evening to everybody. We welcome an unusual couple this evening. Manjari Joshi and Abhay Joshi pursue busy and successful corporate careers in London. They also help run Maya Care, an elder care outfit they founded 11 years ago. It is active in 11 cities of India and a few in the UK. Maya Care provides free services to senior citizens in Pune, Mumbai, Bangalore, Nashik, Nagpur, Kolhapur, Chennai, Trichy, Vadodara, Ahmedabad, and Chandigarh. In the UK, Maya Care is active in London, Cambridge, and Milton Keynes. Maya Care coordinators in these cities run helplines and teams of volunteers. They help senior citizens to run errands, take them to a doctor or a hospital, operate computers and other gadgets, help out with paperwork, or just spend time with them. Maya Care volunteers include college students, homemakers, working professionals, and even active senior citizens. Over the past 11 years, Maya Care has made some 10,000 visits to more than 1,500 senior citizens. Manjari Joshi is a training and management specialist based in the UK for the past 10 years and has a master's degree in mega project management from Oxford University. She has spent over 25 years in the BPO, IT, education, insurance, media, and publishing industries in both India and the UK. She was joint founder and director of Elephant Connect, a venture in leadership training and project transformation. She is the author of 5 books. These include Bosses of the Wild, about the corporate world, and Inspired, a book that offers lessons from 23 contemporary inspirational leaders. Abhay Joshi has over 25 years of corporate managerial experience. He provides consultancies for startups as well as for established businesses. An innovative educator, he has trained school and university students in science, mathematics, and engineering subjects. He is the founder of VI Educational Foundation, a charity that serves underprivileged children. He has headed customer delivery in Tech Mahindra, UK. He has also headed professional services for NSC Global UK. He has been a lecturer in engineering, Maharashtra Institute of Technology, Pune, and president of Alliance Club in the UK. He is a certified private pilot also. Today, Manjari and Abhay Joshi will tell us about elder care and the vision, goals, and activities of Maya Care. They will also tell us how they managed to run Maya Care in India while being busy in London. Over to Manjari and Abhay.
Thank you. Thank you, Parveen, for a very, very kind and long introduction. I don't think, we expect...
That is always courtesy, Mr. Madhu. So he's given the wonderful introduction, and I had the privilege of reading it. Thank you, introducing you. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for inviting us, Mr. Madhu. Thanks, Mr. Mukund in the beginning. And we are very, very happy to have Jayanti with us, Jayanti Ramesh, who's our Chennai coordinator, and she initiated this conversation. So Jayanti has been with us actually when we started Maya Care many years ago, 10 years ago, and then she rejoined when we started Chennai again. So it's great to be, and of course, personally, I visited Chennai a number of times because for the past 3 years, I was based in India. I was based in Pune, leading a company, and we had a Chennai office, Trichy, Salem offices. So I used to come to Tamil Nadu very, very often. So an absolute pleasure to be with all of you. And after that introduction, I think Abhay and I will just speak very briefly about some experiences. But after that, I think it'll be great to have a lot of interaction, your questions, and we would like to keep that as interactive as possible. So Abhay, do you want to?
Yeah. So thank you. Thanks, Manjari. Thank you, everyone, for inviting us. I think, as Parveen said, and listed down all the various services that we provide, our tagline summarizes it, that we are the next best thing to the family. So with the whole generational change that has happened in last 15, 20 years, where children are unable to live with their parents because of the work reasons, professional reasons, they may not be, they may be in the same city, but maybe further away. Like Chennai, Bangalore, these cities are so widespread geographically. Even traveling from point A to point B can take a couple of hours in difficult times. So, and for those who stay in different cities, different countries, looking after their parents is not easy. So what our volunteers do is effectively replacing the children with what children would do for their parents. Of course, we don't take any emergency services because we are not capable of, we don't have any medical skills or any sort of first aid skills within our volunteers to take that sort of responsibility. But in such situations, we definitely help to get the doctors or any professional help needed at that point of time to make sure that the need for the senior citizen is taken care of. So, yeah, I mean, it has been a wonderful journey. Particularly, COVID has like sort of taken our life for last 8 to 10 months now, and has changed the world, not excluding us, and has made us think about what we really need to do and how we really do going ahead. Fortunately for Maya Care, we did not have a sort of a, we had never invested our money in getting an office or anything of that sort. Our whole purpose, because it has been purely funded by the salary that Manjari and I have been earning, and a few donations which we keep on getting once in a while, but majorly funded through our own salaries. So we had been very careful about the way in which we were spending money, and even when we got donations, we made sure that the donor was made aware of where this money was going to. So our investment has been purely, or money spent has been purely on giving it to the people, the volunteers, for their travel, for their time they spend, or any other basic official expenses. So because we did not have office, we never had any landlines. The day we started, Manjari's strategy was very clear. We'll only have mobiles as helplines. So even if the people change, even if we don't have office, it doesn't matter. The mobile numbers have stayed the same for last 10 years. Of course, the cities have increased, so new mobiles numbers have been, helplines have been added. So when COVID started in March, and the restrictions took place in March, we had to operationally, we had to, one side of it, our office side did not have to change anything because it was remote in any case. What we had to change is the actual service being provided to our senior citizens. Now, in Pune and Mumbai, particularly that time, the service was totally held to a grinding halt because visits were not allowed. And quite a few of our volunteers are themselves senior citizens. They do have energy, but they were themselves vulnerable in this situation. So they were not allowed. So we requested our volunteers to make sure that the senior citizens they have been serving, they should at least call them twice a week and make sure that they are doing good. If they need anything, then through some agencies, we made sure that the deliveries were organized for them, and we kept in touch with them. I think loneliness became the main issue here, and we made sure that our senior citizens who we have been serving were taken care of during those days, during that period, and even now, I would say. Yeah.
Right.
You would like to add a few
Yeah.
things?
So the way Abhay described the way Maya Care is structured. So if you look at it in a form where outside the circle, we have, by the way, Parveen ji, we have 14 cities now since we last interacted with Mr. Madhu. Every time we are adding cities and we didn't update him. So we had 3 more cities. We are in Kolkata, in Anand as well. Belgaum,
Gujarat.
also Anand in Gujarat. And I think in the next few weeks, we hope to add Hyderabad because we are interviewing few people. And if everything works well, we'll add Hyderabad. So the way this works is that outside the circle are the people who actually go and visit senior citizens. But inside, when I say inside the organization, the unseen part of Maya Care really is everybody works from home. And because everybody works from home and everything is really remote, they just sit in front of a computer or they're on the phone. They don't need to go out. We have been very, very successful in something which to date was not so well known about Maya Care, and that is we employ persons with disability at the back end. And the entire administration, maintenance of databases, doing all the work, ID card generation, all the administrative work, now increasingly branding work, marketing work, most of it is being handled by this team. And I think this is our first public interaction after this happened yesterday. Just last evening, we have got wonderful news that we have got won a new project where, apart from the 5 people we had, we are adding 45 more persons with disability. To work with us at the back end, and they're going to be with us through the whole year from now to November. And the idea is to take these people and train them in professional skills, because at the end of that year, we hope, and Abhay is of course very strong on that part, and I'm really hoping we can match up and say that these 50 will actually remain with MayaCare and continue to work with MayaCare as a leadership team and management team later. But in case some of them are not suitable or they don't feel that's what they want to do, they would be then equipped to work in a position where they are okay to go on to working in a corporate or in another NGO or something like that. Or third, they can do freelance work. So this is the way MayaCare really has been organized and run. Apart from this, we have had a wonderful initiative with interns, young interns from the age group of say 18 to about 25 or so. And these are young people who have no work experience or are looking to learn something. So they're also working with us on a part-time basis, and all the new things, which fall outside the day-to-day providing of the service, any new project, video making, including this Rotary, going out to Rotary clubs and seeing, whether we can talk about MayaCare. A lot of those projects are being taken care by these young interns, and we pay them as well. So this is really our MayaCare extended family, and increasingly we have champions like I hope Mr. Madhu will now be our champion, where just talk about MayaCare or give us the opportunity to speak, because that is what we need desperately. Though Chennai, we started sometime back, few months ago, we are not able to reach out to senior citizens enough. We have reached out to a lot of young people because
Yeah.
on Facebook, we have had a flood of inquiries and a flood of people wanting to join MayaCare, some who we did not take on board. But it's very difficult to reach out to senior citizens when none of the other things which were going on, in the parks, laughter clubs, all these other things which were going on, or even senior citizens forums, meetings and things, they've stopped. And it's very difficult then to reach out to that age group when they're bound to home. So we really love your help in, trying to spread the word and just let them know this is there, this is free. It's up to them, when they need it. So this is what we seek. I think we
And a couple of other things that we were talking to, we were having a session with one other Rotary Club in Pune yesterday, and we have served a couple of senior members of their team because they needed some help in technology, because particularly with the COVID, everything is happening on Zoom or some other using some other tools, but not every senior citizen is familiar or comfortable using it. So we have a team of volunteers who can go and help senior citizens on that front as well. So any help, it could be technical help or any sort of help, like children would do for their parents. Even now, to be very frank, I come from technology background, but if I get stuck, I ask my daughter and she does it very quickly, much faster than what I would. So while our volunteers are young volunteers who can go and help technically as well. So one more thing about volunteers, we have been very fortunate to have extremely passionate volunteers, and that is what we seek when we recruit any volunteers. We want that passion. We want that person to feel that, yes, I would like to work for senior citizens, because it is not like a transactional job where you go and deliver a bag or deliver some food and come back. No, the transaction doesn't end. There is a mental connect between our volunteer and the senior citizens, to an extent that the senior citizens literally wait. Okay, now he has gone back today, so okay, next Tuesday he's going to come at this time, and they literally wait for that person to come, and it's natural. So that bonding exists. And sadly, we have to part with people who pass away as well, and we have seen that happening recently as well. In one of the incidences, in fact, we had been serving one elderly person in Pune for quite some time, and he passed away while his daughter lives in the UK, and that happened at night. I mean, late evening, around 10 o'clock night time. And when I came to know about it from his daughter, that person's daughter living in the UK. And then when I made a call to our coordinator in Pune, in 15 minutes, we had three of our volunteers, one who used to support that gentleman, plus one lady volunteer, so that the spouse of the individual person can be taken care of, and plus one additional person went there. They provided, they took care of all the last rituals that were to be done, because they were living in care homes, so the support was reasonably not as high at that time of the day. And they also made a video call to the daughter, so that the daughter could also see what was happening there, and she felt nice about that. This type of work, we had never thought about this. Maya Care was not originally designed for this, but on their own, our volunteers did this. I mean, we always say that we are very fortunate that we have been getting good people who want to do this. So that is the type of service. It's more of an emotional connect service, more of an intellectual service that our volunteers provide. Most of the volunteers that we have been professionals. Some of them retired, some of them still in job, some of them even students, as Manjari said. So it's a full mix. So from Rotary Club's perspective, from your club's perspective, I mean, you can be part of any of these three things. You can, if you need a service, I can see many senior citizens, I can see they're all energetic, but if you, in any case, you need service, our helplines are there on our website. You can call for the service. It's free in any case. You can also help us generate funds, because as I said earlier, we have been literally paying from our own salaries most of the time. And as it is growing, the amount is multiplying. And our dream is to have Maya Care in all the cities in India first, and then across the globe in major cities. So that is a target, but we know it is not easy to achieve, but that is a good target which we'll try definitely to achieve. So you can be champions, you can be talking about Maya Care. If anyone needs any service, you can just tell them this is the number you call, and there will be someone. Of course, we expect 24 hours notice at least. As I said earlier, we don't have enough manpower, or we have enough manpower, but we don't have capabilities or skills to handle emergencies. So yeah, so that is, yeah, one more last thing from my end is that about 3 months back, to increase the security of our senior citizens who we serve, instead of having the normal ID cards, we bought digital ID cards. So all our volunteers, who specifically those who visit the senior citizens, have been issued digital ID cards, which are on their phone. They cannot be tampered. They cannot do anything with that digital ID card. Centrally, they are controlled. So if a person leaves the organization for whatever reasons, we are able to centrally control that and remove that digital ID, so that he or she doesn't misuse it. They are supposed to show that to the person, because that ID card shows the photograph, so that a senior citizen can take in the person only if the ID card picture matches with the person who has come there. So we are making sure that our senior citizens, who also feel sometimes vulnerable in terms of opening the door for some unknown person, we are making sure that all those things are taken care of, as well as all our volunteers. When we recruit, we take their bank details, we take their Aadhaar card, ensuring that they have some sort of valid identity at a national level, to ensure that there is a lower risk on any front.
So just to summarize, people, we always get asked, can Maya Care do this or not do this? It's not very clear. So we'll make it very simple. There are only three things we don't do. So Abhay mentioned emergency, we cannot do. Second is the ward boy, Aya, nursing, that kind of service, because a lot of people need 24/7, 12-hour support. We are not able to provide that. But at the same time, if tomorrow Jayanti gets a call saying, I need somebody like that, Jayanti would be able to organize to connect with the bureaus, nursing bureaus which are existing in Chennai and all parts of India now, saying that they provide paid nursing or Aya, whatever service, and they would be able to facilitate that, and the payment can go directly to the bureau. Obviously, we won't take guarantee for those people, but help you organize that part. So that's the second one which we don't do. Third is the actual domestic cooking, cleaning, gardening, that kind of work we cannot do. So, but apart from these three things, there is everything we can do. And just to, before I close, Rotary especially. And it was really fun yesterday when we had a lovely interaction. We had a lovely music program with Rotary Club of Pune because it was their event, Christmas event. And that is also the oldest club of Pune, like you are the oldest club of Chennai. That's why they're called Pune. And they said 90% of their membership is above a certain age group. And the gentleman who was there, he's 90 plus. I think he's one of the oldest members of the club. And he wanted to do the Rotary voting online, which he was not able to do a couple of weeks ago. And our volunteer visited his house and they were able to watch the Zoom meeting and do everything. And, he was able to vote. So that was something which we could facilitate. Or even like the Christmas party you mentioned, sir, that which you're going to have. I mean, there might be people who can't attend genuinely, they're in vulnerable position or whatever else. We are more than happy to, make sure somebody from our side is online, Zoom, helping them in the local language if needed to sign in or go and visit or whatever else. So this is, this is the way we have kept everybody alive in the past. When I say everybody alive, in their minds alive, because that is what has suffered the most, the mental health. So right from getting somebody's a YouTube channel up and running, 81-year-old person getting a YouTube channel up and running, or somebody's 80th birthday, and what do you give an 80-year-old lady? And she's not even going out to wear a new sari anymore. So we had a little video of her cooking and getting some recipes of hers, and showing it to all her nieces and nephews and things. So we've done a variety of things which have to keep them alive at this stage. So, do come up and ask us whatever is needed. I think we'll end on this note and then open to questions.
Thank you. I think both of you are doing this full time.
Overtime, I would say. Manjari currently is full time because she left her corporate job in India end of this year in March and she came back to the UK. We have to earn money to run our house, and so plus fund not only Maya Care, but as Parveen mentioned, we also run another organization for underprivileged children. So we have to fund that as well. So I have my own work, full-time work. I have my own tutoring company in the UK. So that is my full-time job. But parallelly, this is we spend quite a few hours on this. Of course, Manjari, as I said, is full-time now on this.
So the question is very interesting, Mr. Mukund, because in every year of the past 11 years, we would have given you a different answer for this one. Why? Because when we started, and at that time there was no Zoom and there was no WhatsApp and everything. So I had to physically come to Chennai, physically go to every city and start everything. So that particular year, yes, I had done it full time. But after that, literally it's been a parallel run. So, and I'm thinking that just till 4.5 years ago, every email which would come into Maya Care via the website used to come into our phone, my phone. And I used to able to answer it and send it to the right city, all of that. And, it's always been this situation where Abhay says, apart from our children, we have two more babies, Maya Care and We Foundation, who are just not growing up because we, at a certain point, you're wondering, oh, this month, how is this going to work? How is the financial situation going to work? And then you keep working on the corporate side to make this thing work, and which is one of the reasons why we are not that well known across the country, because neither of us was able to give it full time. So the last 3 years, especially when I was in India very much in Pune, I was working for a company as heading the company. So obviously I could not dedicate any time to Maya Care, not just time, but even space to talk about Maya Care, where it was entirely handled by Abhay and my mother, who's based in Pune. She's 79, and the other people. But so, over time, Abhay has given more time or I've given more time, the other has given more money, but it needed both. And this year has been a radical year because, as Abhay said, I quit my job in March and obviously there's no income after that. But we said this year, if we don't do it, we don't know when it will happen because we have to put Maya Care on its feet and it cannot function like this erratically on our two incomes, which obviously nobody is getting younger on this stage. And apart from this full time, giving it full time, it's also about building the team, building that leadership team, especially these persons with disability who will take it forward. long after we're gone, where it works for itself. From the donations, their salaries go. And as Abhay said, we are not spending anything on any office and nothing fancy anywhere. So whatever is coming is going straight to the people running the show on a day-to-day basis, the helpline numbers, the website, all these servers, ID cards, everything is like that. So that's your answer. I hope
Yeah.
that's what you.
But you can avoid the Mr. Most of us are quite
Okay.
comfortable.
Okay.
Okay.
Abhay, I have a question. I'm Ranjit Joseph here. My question is, how do you train your volunteers? Because there is no physical, meeting. You mentioned you have no office. So how do you ensure that they give the same kind of service, uniformity?
Absolutely. Very good question. See, what we have is a standard operating procedure document, which where A to Z, everything that a volunteer is expected to do and the processes involved in that has been listed down. So it's not only about a document, but the content gets reviewed and sort of updated regularly based on our experiences. Now, after that, there is a session that happens where, depending on who is available, most of the time it is going to be Manjiri, who would be sort of going through any doubts they have about those procedures with the individuals, ensuring that they are clear about it. And we have a mentor-mentee sort of a program for hand-holding the new volunteers that join us. So we have some volunteers which have been with us for almost like 10 years, right from day one, 10, 11 years now, right from day one. So some of our senior volunteers who have a lot of experience because of having worked with us for a long time, they handhold new volunteers, irrespective of their age. And for first couple of visits, generally, they would be going along with them to make sure that, see, it's all about the communication that happens when they go to the senior citizen. That cannot go wrong, because that is where the biggest mistake can happen. And the handling of certain things where you need a lot of patience when you are dealing with senior citizens. So that soft side of it is what needs a bit of hand holding. And once that is done, the volunteers are on their own to do it. And of course, we are always there to guide them. We do take feedback from sometimes the senior citizens, but even we check with the children who might have requested us to give service for their parents to make sure that they are happy about it. Touch wood, fortunately till now, we haven't had any complaints in last 11 years. As I said, we have been fortunate. We have been getting very good. Volunteers. So even, I mean, right at the beginning of when we interview volunteers, we do reject people where even if we have a slightest doubt that this person, his motive is not to serve, but is something else. No, we just politely decline and do not offer him or her any volunteering role. But yes, that standardization through standard operating procedures and hand holding. And we have, I mean, volunteers meet regularly nowadays virtually, and they share their own experiences. And our coordinators, city coordinators, they help them out many a times on different occasions. And if needed, Manjiri and I are there to take care of this as well.
This is a very important point, Mr. Ranjit. What you said is that, and as Abhay said, the secret is in choosing the right people. If you have chosen the right people, and in one 5-minute call, you know who is right and who is not right, because the genre of the kind of people we want are people who have basic empathy and basic trust. Basic honesty and empathy, and without that, and that cannot be taught by any kind of
Yeah.
training. So it's not possible. Empathy, still we'll tell them to do something. Honesty cannot be taught. So if there is any doubt, first thing, that's out, and which is why we take a little longer, especially Chennai. Before we approach Jayanti, and even now we are looking for more volunteers, because there are a number of people we have interviewed and we are not okay with that, with just the desire. What are you looking for with your life, what to do with your life? So that's number one. Second is that if we have a few nuances which come over time, again, it cannot be trained, but they are shared through experiences. For example, and this is something very close to our hearts, so we'll talk about, if you know a senior citizen who's 85 or 89, and you say that, I'm sending somebody, so and so, and we experience this all the time. They might say, no, I don't want anybody, I don't need anybody, I'm fine. So if you ask anybody what do they need, they will always say no. And they're bound, including my parents, will still say no at 79 and 81 because they are very sure they don't need anything. What they're missing is us not there. So now that us not there is not going to happen with sending somebody like that, but creating something to occupy their very I would say intellectually stimulated minds. And that intellectual stimulation which they're seeking is what we do. Sometimes we know this, we anticipate this over time. So we have told the local coordinators that in such cases, don't even tell them it's Maya Care. We are not interested in publicizing the name of Maya Care. As long as somebody visits, somebody calls, and they're happy talking to that person, we are fine. And there have been number of cases where we have started like that. Later, the person actually gets to know or is told, and they're fine with it because they say, as long as this person is visiting, I don't have to pay them anything, and I like them. So this is a soft nuance which comes out later. Second, very important is that where is the service happening? And this we put in place on day one, that this service is going to happen either in the garden, in the parking lot, downstairs, or in the living area, reception area of the house. No entering the kitchen or the bedroom of anyone's house for safety on both sides, unless the person is bedridden.
Yep.
That is the only exception to be made. The person is bedridden and you have to read to the person inside the room. That's, so these are a few things to be followed. And as Abhay said, it's quite amazing that we have not had any complaints on either side, simply because we have the right people.
Yep.
And just in case in future, because the world is not always the best, we have even a whiff of having a wrong person involved, Abhay would just stop the ID card at the back end. There's no question of any further discussion. If anybody has this, we haven't had to do it.
Yeah.
So
just
far,
in
but
case,
in case.
I think that is something very superb, that I think both of you have some kind of an intuitive skill, which, by talking to somebody on the phone to realize, that this is the kind of, their quality and their nature. Because it is very tough, even after a face-to-face interview, sometimes we fail, how to place people. So that is something great if you have not had any issue all these years. Anyway, I have one more question. Why the name Maya?
No, Maya actually in Sanskrit means mamta, right? It's affection.
Affection.
So it is, so Maya, of course, has two meanings. Maya also means illusion in Sanskrit.
Yeah.
But
That's
it also means mamata, which is very different from, it is love, but it is like a mother's love for a child or a grandparent's love for, so it's deep affection.
Okay.
And which is why also, and again, our foresight 11 years ago, we never thought we'll go global, but we wanted a name which everybody across cultures will not mess up and say nicely. And it's easy to say.
Yeah, because there is something called a Mayo Clinic. So now sounding very similar.
Yeah.
Okay, all the best to you. All the best to you.
Thank
I mean, it's fantastic. Great.
And just to clarify, it is not only us taking the interviews. Local interviews in Chennai are taken by Jayanti.
Yeah.
So she's doing, but we are insisting, by the way, and that's a very, very good point. We are insisting on video interviews because face-to-face is not possible anymore. We are insisting, because in those who say, no, I don't have a camera, I said, no, it's not, it's compulsory in Maya Care.
Yeah.
Because we want to see the environment, where are they standing, where are they sitting, what is the expression?
Yeah.
So, and that tells you a lot about
Absolutely.
people. If they don't even want to switch on your camera, sorry, we don't want to meet them.
Yeah.
So,
It's great. That's great.
I am R.V. Rajan.
yes, sir.
I am associated with one or two such organizations, including Dignity Foundation. Because they all charge something. A very
Yes.
professionally run 25-year-old organization.
Yes.
And whatever you are saying, they are making it happen, but they charge. It's not free. It's admirable that you're able to do this free. But how long can you do this free? Because the kind of ambitious program that you got,
Yeah.
you must have some plans to get money.
Yes.
What's your business plan?
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Again, a very good question. And we have been working on it since last couple of years. Our focus has been, as Manjari said, the organization should carry on functioning even after we pass away.
Correct.
So for that, it has to be standing on its own feet. And
Institutionalized.
yes, absolutely. And that is what is the focus, right? Apart from ensuring that there is growth and there is regular operations running smoothly, it's all about ensuring that ongoing funds are generated to keep the organization live and going. This thing. So as Manjari said, we have just last evening, we got a confirmation of a project wherein we'll be taking a person with disabilities to carry on our work, which we are doing. With already we have 5 people doing it, but we'll be adding about 45 more, and all that will be funded through that project. So likewise, we are also pursuing other funding options in terms of corporate funding as well as individual.
CSR. CSR is a good opportunity.
So we will, I mean, probably going ahead, Manjari and my job will be mostly to ensure that there is some sort of continuity in the cash flow every year to meet the demand of the organization.
And also good people.
And also good people. And also good people. But it's, yeah, it's not only money, but also good people who can work with us. So yeah, I mean, we'll have to keep on pressing hard to make sure that it happens. Like any other big charity, like global charities, which eventually have come to a stage where people go and give them money rather than they asking for. I'm not saying this will happen like overnight. It takes a lot of effort and time and capabilities to be delivered before people realize that there is something existing.
I can share information with you. Dignity Foundation is getting such funding from corporate, but
Right.
they insist on not giving to a project which helps only the rich people. You know, they are insisting on that funds should go to poor people. So,
Right.
so that's also a point. You know, if you can plan.
Right, sir. What you're saying is absolutely right, because every day almost, I mean, Dignity is a very established organization and
Yeah.
it's very old and, very, very well established. But almost on a every week basis, we get told by somebody that, oh, you're doing this, but we are also doing this, but we are charging 1,000 rupees, 1 lakh rupees, 200 rupees for various things. And I said, Abhay and I do not have even the energy nor the inclination to fight with anyone, because we just don't have the time to fight with anyone. And they, people have told us, oh, you should tie up with us, and we have this so much charge and everything. It's not there. We don't want to do it, because when we started, we actually started in the same model. We started registered as a private limited company. We used to charge a minor amount of 200 rupees per visit, and we failed. In 1 year, we realized that this is a wrong model, at least for us. It might work for other people, but
Yeah.
it is not going to work for us, because what we found is that this conversation, which we have with persons who want the service for their loved ones, it just goes in a different direction if you're going to charge, because then it's a transaction, it's a sale, and that person is a customer, and the person, you have to spend a lot of energy and time convincing the customer about something they need. And, so we had these experiences, very, very, I would say, some very frustrating, some
Yeah.
very negative experiences, where even 200 rupees, 250 rupees for a loved one was becoming a lot for person. And we didn't want to go in that direction. We are not the right people to comment on somebody else's life.
Yeah.
So we left it there. And over time, I'm not saying we did the right thing or wrong thing. Whatever we did, we continued to work and we continued to fund this. We never actively went and sought funds. And this is the first year we are actually doing it, where also because, we have both been in employment with as a salary with other people, it is not morally correct to go and ask for your own organization, when you are employed by some other organization. So morally, it was not the right thing to do. But over time, especially the past 7-8 months, when we are focusing so much on it, we formed little teams and we're approaching corporates directly. We're approaching organizations like, even Rotary International, because Rotary clubs in India are really supporting us. Like yours, Pune, Mumbai, we've had a number of such interactions, and somebody like Rotary, they bring so much dignity to everything which is done. And Lions clubs have helped us and whatever else. So we are going in that direction, as well as individual donors. And your last point, which you said about privileged people, we are very, very fully, clearly aware of that, because 1 or 2 incidences which Abhay mentioned are of people whose children live abroad, but not everybody. Out of the 10,000 visits, I would say about 1 or 2% might be this. The rest are people who either don't have children, or even if they have children, they might be in a different city, same city, might be in an old age home, or have different other kinds of problems. And again, we took a call that we are not going to be the ones asking what is going on in a family. It's none of our business. Apart from anything else, I mean, why does this generation, when I say generation of people between 60 and 95 today, they are in a very, very emotionally and socially vulnerable position, because this is the first generation of Indian people who have realized that they are now living alone or living with a spouse, and they had never imagined in their life this will happen. While us in our 40s and in his 50s, we know this is going to happen. So we are fully aware of the fact that the children are not going to be there. While that generation of Indians, it was extremely unfair because they looked after their own in-laws and their
Yep.
parents and everything else. So on top of that, to question, oh, what is your son doing and why is this? And, why do we, because people have asked us, why are you doing it for him? He has a son, she has a daughter. Why do you have to do this? They should do it. I said, we are not the persons to say what somebody else should do. And and moreover, it's positive. Even if, like, for my own parents, I'm so happy that they're 79, 81, they're living with my brother in Pune, but they would still use MayaCare in very different ways. Sometimes like that, to join a Zoom call like this, or whatever else, because or pure companionship, because I don't know how many young people today, I mean, in a place like Chennai or Bangalore, when people work in the IT and all these for 14, 15 hours a day with a commute, I mean, how do you expect somebody to read to a senior citizen in their own house and spend time playing chess with them or doing whatever, or even like continuously taking them for radiotherapy 4 times a week or whatever needs to be done? So this thing about privilege and otherwise is, this is how we've dealt with
Yeah,
it.
I think it is a human need that we are trying to serve rather than looking at it as a transaction. So it doesn't matter whether it is a person having a lot of money or person not having as much. It is a human being, right? Is a senior human being. All are in the same state, whether you have money or not at that age. That's my personal view. I may not be fully right. And we are trying to just fill that gap to make sure that that last inning is as happy as possible. And they should be in a position that they should be able to do their things on their own with a bit of support from what our volunteers can give, so that they also feel satisfied. Oh, I did this today. I want to do something else now. Keep their, as Manjari said, keep their minds active and going. Give them goals. That why don't you write a book? We will help you.
Yeah.
Why don't you make a video? Our person will come and help you make a video. So they also have a project every time. Like about a month and a half back, we had organized a mehfil, which was singing by our own senior citizens. And they were practicing for 1.5 months. They made videos out of it, sent it to us. And then one day in the evening, about 1.5 hour or 1 hour or so, those videos were played on Zoom, and they were telecast, recorded and done. So they were so excited about something doing like having some sort of an objective. So that is where that question of money, at least for Manjari and me, we feel that does it matter whether this person is poor or not poor? I mean, we have been serving a senior citizen related to an industrialist. I mean, for them, they can literally buy 10 of Abhay and Manjari's. I mean, that's a fact. But a human need is a human need, right? At that stage, it doesn't matter. That money doesn't make any difference. So
I must also tell you one thing. During this pandemic, many of the senior citizens have become tech savvy.
yes.
See, the Chai Masti centers, which Dignity Foundation is running across the country in the 7 centers, become so popular. A normal physical attendance, people used to have 20, 30 people coming. Today, Chai Masti evening Zoom meeting, 60 to 70 people attend. It comprises of all. It's fantastic fun they have. Twice or thrice a week, they all look forward to that meeting.
Yeah.
What you are saying is something like that,
Yes.
Happen.
So,
You can imagine the effect.
yes, for the same reason, sir, we had organized something called Tech Smart Seniors to help senior citizens learn Zoom a few months ago, to pick up Zoom, how to learn, and we offered support in 11 Indian languages, and the session was in Hindi, but in 11 languages. And exactly this, 2 days before the session, we had personal tutors for each of them, our young people who were calling and helping them just get to a stage where they can click and join the Zoom call. And after that, many things were taught and things like that. So it got a great response. We had 60 plus participants there, and you're absolutely right. It's, once they're into it, it's not so, and that's how we publicize the event.
Yeah.
I said, this is a generation which is seen right from radio, black and white TV to now Zoom. And they have experienced everything and they have embraced everything. Great news about a generation they've embraced without rejecting it.
Yeah.
So
That's a big thing. Yeah.
Have you ever come across, actually I hosted as a compare 2 programs for an NGO which is involved in supporting elders who have adult special children.
Yes.
Oh, it was absolutely shocking. And
Adult special children.
that those two programs actually affected me, though I was the compare.
So please connect
Stop.
us to them. If you
Yeah.
can, please connect us to them, because as I said, for 50 hiring 50 people, we have already taken 30 on board. But if there are any, actually we can't take them if they're outside Maharashtra for this particular program. But if there is somebody, we on our own from MayaCare, we
Yeah,
can take them.
we
If there
can,
is
yeah.
somebody interested, we can definitely take them, because again, it's a journey. We are not, so yesterday we had a long presentation and detailed dwelling into this point, and they said, oh, how can you offer 50 jobs? MayaCare is such a small organization. Where are your 50 jobs? And we took the whole range from all we are asking for the person to have is access to a laptop, a computer, and a phone, smartphone with WhatsApp in it. That's it. And if they have that, and of course, basic reading, writing skills, basic literacy, no level of education or anything, basic literacy, we start them with a basic data entry job, and just Google or some data entry, and then graduate as we go along to whatever they can do, right? From set up a Zoom meeting to, how to do a Google search or how to operate Google Drive to onwards to the highest level. So we have amazing success stories among our own people, who are there,
Yeah.
and we'll take them through that. And everything is per hour basis, so they get paid. Everything is from home. So the major barriers which have been there for persons with disability to work. So we are taking care of those.
Yeah, I think one more thing what we have observed is that these people with special needs or special falling in this category, once they succeed in doing one task, they want to do something more and more. So they are so keen on learning and doing more things. The thing is that we need to have patience to sustain that pace, because we cannot expect them to chalo aaj sikhaya kal ho gaya. It cannot be that fast. But if we show that patience, we get amazing results, and they also become confident. That is the main thing, and that I'm sure that will help their parents to reduce their burden, because mentally a person is then attached to doing something and getting some positive outcome on a daily or a reasonably regular basis. That will change the psyche within the house as well.
I'm just going to ask Jayanti to answer this question. Just on day before, Jayanti, if you could switch on your video, and you had some things to say about our Jyoti, if you'd like to tell.
I was in touch with her 10 years ago, and when I came back, she has been really wonderful help. At odd times, at 10:30, I would get a WhatsApp message from her saying, so and so has registered, and please talk to them tomorrow and welcome them to MayaCare. And I used to tell her, it's 11 baj gaya, abhi so jao, tomorrow morning, please look at it, don't do anything now. But she was absolutely into. Anytime I call her, morning 7 o'clock, night 10 o'clock, she's available. That is really wonderful for a disabled person to do that. It was really great interacting with her.
Yes, sir. You're on mute, sir. Mr. Madhu is.
Yeah, you're on mute again. No, I think you're back on mute. Yeah.
Are you able to hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is there any difference in the kind of services that you provide in the UK and that in India?
Yeah, I mean, in UK, our operations have started very recently, about 3 months back. We registered at end of April this year, and because of pandemic, the progress was not much. But because the type of regulations here are much stricter, first of all those volunteers that we have, they have to be DBS checked. There is a national level database through which an individual has to go through. It's an automated system, but has to go to and get a certified of enhanced DBS checked person, so that it ensures that a person doesn't have any criminal background or any background related to handling vulnerable people. I mean, teenagers or less than 18 years or above 65 years. They don't have any sort of wrong records in their names. And once that is done, they can volunteer with us. So we have got the volunteers here. Now, at the same time, culturally, the things are much different compared to what we have back in India, where we here, the senior citizens do not expect their children to stay with them. In fact, they prefer that the children are away. And they, because that has been their mindset, they are independently doing their work. Even, I mean, if we go to a shop and if we see a senior citizen struggling, if we ask them, do you need any help? And they will say, no, don't worry. I will wait here for 5 minutes and do it later. So they are quite, they want to do it on their own. But at the same time, loneliness is one thing which is common across the globe, and here as well. And that is where we are trying to reach some people. Like there are some people from Indian community. One of the senior citizen, he had been taking care of his wife who was having dementia for couple
4
of
years.
4 years. Unfortunately, she passed away about a month and a half back. And he's 85 years old himself, but he had been taking care of his wife, and a bit of support from council. The person used to come regularly for washing and everything. But apart from that, now that person has become so lonely that if one of our volunteers just calls him casually, very easily he can be talking for about an hour or so. Right, so that loneliness is there. Then there is someone here, again, someone from Indian community, where that lady only speaks in Gujarati. So Manjari can probably make a bit of conversation in Gujarati. I am very bad in languages, so I can't. But we have volunteers who can speak with them in their language and make sure that they are taken care of. Mainly, we have been also slowly working with care homes here, where very old, I mean, we are talking about 85 and above senior citizens who stay there. They are assisted, they are supported there by that particular group of care homes. And but loneliness and other things are there. So just few weeks back, just after Diwali probably, was it during Diwali period, we had organized a Zoom call with the care home, where about 8 or 10 local old men and women, they were listening to what Diwali is. Our daughter explained what Diwali is, what the story behind it is, what are the 4 or 5 things that we do during Diwali. And then Manjari and our daughter, they demonstrated how a laddu can be made. And we had already instructed the care home management, and they had kept some sort of besan and sugar mixed in front of each senior citizen. And they were trying to make the laddu. And we were told later that some of them could make it, some of them just made it flat, but they ate it later. But the enthusiasm and the expression that they had when they were listening to the stories around it. One of the ladies said that, you know what, I used to have a Diwali friend, but she got married off. So that sweet lady left Milton Keynes and went somewhere else. But that time I never knew what Diwali was, but you have explained it very well. These are all English old people. But so we are trying to operate in that way. Also, some of the senior citizens need delivery of food or some of those things. Though there are services available through council, government services are there for senior citizens, but still the demand is very high. So we are trying to see how we can help them.
Mr. Madhu, I think the end of this story is that, yes, they are different. The attitude is very different, because one of the incidences we've had is an 89-year-old English lady who is got dementia, partial dementia, and her son and daughter, she's very difficult with them because she is she's just refusing to live in a care home. She has been put into 2 care homes and she's come out saying, I don't want to live here. So they have got her a house, bought her a house in what is called a retirement village. And obviously in our Indian culture, we would just bring the lady home, but that is not going to happen in this culture. So she has been in that retirement home, independent house, where they have put an alarm if she has a fall. And the morning which where 3 of us volunteers, we were going to visit, she had a fall, and he messaged me saying, okay, she had a fall, the ambulance came, she's fine, but not now. And the situation is such that the carer comes. They've kept 2 carers, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, to go visit and check on her. She, because of dementia, she tells them, you never sent anybody because I don't remember anybody coming. So, sir, this is it's universal. And to end our story on care in the UK is such that in this Diwali event, one of the things we showed them was Rangoli demonstration, and we were drawing and everything. And we said, can we have someone's name, and we'll write their name in Rangoli. So we wrote the name of an elderly lady. She was very chatty. Her name is Rose. So we wrote that name. And so then after we finished writing the name, she said, okay, can you write my granddaughter's name? Her granddaughter's name is Violet. Then she told her nurse that, can you take a photo of this and send it to my granddaughter from me? Okay, so this is universal. You know, I feel there is no difference between senior citizens across the world. And already in India, we're dealing with 14 cities, 14 different languages and cultures. And there is no difference, because what we want is people to remain happy, active as long as possible. And their heart lies in their grandchildren. You know, at the end of the day, we all know that everybody's heart is in the grandchildren. And as long as we are able to do things like this, like even through lockdown, one of the stories we have is that elderly couple, 89 and 95. Now Maya Care has been their lifeline for many, many years, because he can't see at all, and he's a retired college principal, and his emotional need is very high. Intellectual need is even higher, because you know, at least the lady, she's involved in some housework, something, but he cannot feel satisfied unless somebody has an intellectual conversation with him. And Maya Care is being missed very sorely because of the lockdown. So what we ultimately did is that during the lockdown, because our elderly people could not visit our other elderly people, we sent a young volunteer with a very specific task. And we said that just collate all the grandchildren and great-grandchildren's photos and videos, which they otherwise see on a weekly basis. So she collated everything and she took it in her phone, and for 1.5 hours, she was showing this granddaughter, great-granddaughter, grandson,
videos as well.
Videos, whatever they were singing, dancing, everything was done. And the best moment, you know, among our many great moments, was that this lady, the child was singing Sanskrit shloka for the great-grandmother, and the great-grandmother was singing it along. And we shot a video, this volunteer shot a video of that happening and sent it to the rest of the family.
Yeah.
And so, you know, this is a lockdown story that, you know, pleasurable 1.5 hours in their lives is all we can do. You know, there is nothing more we can external people do for them. Yeah.
Thank you. I think any more last question?
I have two of my friends, Suchint and Gayatri, over here. Like I mentioned, they manage Sakhi for Life. I think Suchint just wants to say a few words to Abhay.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks, Ajit. Yeah, hi, Abhay, and hi, Manjari. Amazing work that you both do. It just took me back to where we started. We are just about 1.5 years old, and we might be in the same stage that you were 10 years ago. So it's amazing, and it takes definitely a lot of patience and perseverance to work with the elderly and keep it going for so many years. Would love to just chat up with you and learn from your last 10 years what wisdom and what advice you could have for, you know, startups like us. We are also in a similar model, and sometimes in cross roads as to, you know, whether we move to a voluntary service or continue as a paid subscription model. So would love to catch up with you sometime.
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you, Sachin.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Abhay, and thank you, Manjari, for such a lovely evening. It's a very touching evening. I request Rajan Babu to give us the vote of thanks.
I have actually heard of sales target, revenue target, margin target. I've come across so many targets, but never, heard of a target of an NGO run by a family wanting to expand and give away all their wealth. And we Southerners really salute you for what you've been doing. And I also would like to thank, Jayanti Ramesh, and also Suchint was asking, like, as if she's starting a company for, a profit, asking for help, the wisdom that what you've gained. Amazing. With one goal in our life, one job, we make it so complex, right? One goal to take care of the family with one job. And oftentimes, I would tell myself that you don't want time to do some of the basic things for your loved ones at home. Having had a corporate life for so many years, multiple hats, amazing, and the way last 25 minutes that you have, kind of decoded the whole stuff, as if you don't require time to do any of these things. Yeah. And that was more than what you're doing. And that kind of gives us a feel, how you do it at ease and comfort. More than actually giving these to the elders, what I learned in the last 20 minutes, the leadership team for the underprivileged or the challenged, right? Amazing. Never thought about leadership team. We find really difficult to train a physically challenged person. We tried a few occasions, failed, and nobody has the patience. Nobody even has the patience to teach an intern who does not even ask money. Now you take an intern, pay money, train, you have an SOP. On top of all of these, and you are actually influencing their character, influencing their thought process. You're changing the next generation. And you have nicely put that in your logo. Amazing. And every detailing in your website, from a logo, the significance of the logo and your board team, how to call, amazing. And I could see that your professional experience, the reflection everywhere throughout your speech, in your website. And I think, with 1,500 senior citizens, with more than 10,000 visits, at least about 900, 3 to 4 visits a day, right? And it's not on autopilot. Amazing. And hats off to you both. And it was, I don't know how to explain the last 30, 40 minutes of time listening to you both. Thank you very much and wishing you the very best.
Thank you. Our pleasure.
Thank you, Rajan.
Thank you.
I now close this meeting for the Rotary Club of Madras South. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
I will be closing the meeting shortly.